Welcome to the Way to Go podcast. I am Bill McMinn, and with me is my wife, Jeri.
Hi.
I can say a lot of things. I'm not going to, but I could. Because, I don't even want to just say something derogatory, just not even in jest. I'm not going to do it because you're my beautiful wife, and I love you very much, and I'm glad that you're here. And we've been working on the 7 Deadly Sins. So it's a book by James Stalker. He's a stalker, and he wasn't ashamed to put it right in his last name. And he did, and he got away with it because his book's still around. So 1901, he wrote the 7 Deadly Sins. Then in 1902, he wrote the seven cardinal virtues. So we're going right now. The Sin Is Gluttony. So
it's a rough one.
It's overindulging. Yeah, it's overindulging. So here it is. 1 Corinthians 6:12, I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. I think no matter what it is, whether it's food, it's alcohol, it's social media, it's spending money and what you have to have, I'm not going to be, some things, it's not that you can't do it. It's not that you're not allowed to do it. It's just there's no benefit in doing it. So
right.
From that perspective, he said, I'm not going to be mastered by anything. And what I want to look at is not just talking about food, but I want to look at anything that could master us, anything that could be getting too big of a hold of our lives. And I'll give you free reign. You can say whatever you want because too much of a good thing is not a great thing. And we can have addictive tendencies. And any of that, those things that are addictive tendencies can take our attention off God, replace God. And we can't rob God of the attention or dependence that he deserves.
Yeah, it's true. Everything has to be done in moderation. And, there are a lot of good things out there that we can turn into bad things because we do it too much or we become consumed with it.
Right. All right. Off the top of your head, what are some things that we're overindulging in?
I think in our nation, one thing we really overindulge in is our right to leisure. That we just always, I deserve it. I deserve this downtime. Even people at their work, sometimes just feel like they shouldn't have to work that hard because they deserve the break, Okay,
well, I wasn't really thinking you were going to go there on your first one out.
Oh, you said it was free reign.
I thought you would hit social media.
Well, that's leisure.
It is, but here's the thing,
though.
You're somebody, I think you should be on social media more because you're funny and you have good things to say, and I think that you would be a benefit.
I entertain myself.
I think you would be a benefit to the social media world. But on the other hand, I think that you see the drawbacks of it, and that people always have a phone in their hand, including myself, and that we can easily overindulge in our craving for wanting to get something out there that people would like or promotion or whatever. And not all of it's wrong. Some of it, we have a purpose and we have a reason for doing what we're doing. We're trying to show the world to people who aren't willing to get off their couch and go experience it. Yeah. And we're trying to get them off their couch. I think there's some reasons we're doing it, but it can get too much.
It can become habitual.
Right.
Where the phone is just almost like a crutch. If you're sitting somewhere, you can't just sit there. They have to be looking at the phone, or it can't just be talking with the people that you're with, constantly checking, the people that you're not with, and first time I ever saw texting, we were on a vacation with our family. I'm looking at the phone and we didn't have texting at that point. It was new. And I just couldn't believe it. I never saw these relatives hardly ever, hadn't gotten together with them in over a year. And while we were there visiting, they kept being on their phones and texting other people. I'm like, this is so weird to me.
And it was just the start of the tsunami.
It was the beginning of it. And now it's way worse than that even was. And I just thought you can't enjoy just the company of the people that you're with. And I get that texting is important and that's how I communicate with the kids and stuff when they're not around, but it can become an obsession. Anything, Facebook, checking Instagram, even just browsing the internet, checking the news, the latest everything. There's always has to be something that people are looking at as opposed to just look at the world that you're in. What's around you gets lost sometimes. You see it in restaurants and everything. It's just craziness.
Because you're around me.
Yeah.
Because you're around me, I have this to shield me from that. You know what I'm saying? This protects me from you. See, right now I put it right there. I can't even see you anymore. So I'm protected. So maybe that's it. Maybe you need to be more entertaining. So I'll put my phone down. Maybe that. But I say it tongue in cheek. But obviously, there are times where, certain once in a while, I will just not even take my phone into a place with me because I don't want to be tempted to look at it because I want to be talking to people around me, not often enough, really. And I do think, I think it's an issue.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is.
Well, it's impossible to say I'm no better, no worse. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but I could stand improvement.
Yeah, I think everyone just needs to evaluate themselves, and decide. But I mean, social media is just one thing. There's all kinds of things I think that we can become obsessed with or overindulge in life.
Right. Well, I'm going to get to that because I think there are attention gluttons. They are gluttons for attention. My dad used to say you're a glutton for punishment. That's what I used to hear. That's what I was a glutton for. I was a glutton for punishment. But there are, today, I think there are attention gluttons, that just have to have attention, have to have people looking at them, have to have acclaim, have to have pats on the back. Food, alcohol, obviously, would be two obvious ones people overindulge. I think that we are in a hypersexualized country where you see Netflix, you see all kinds of stuff, and it's just so gratuitous at times where why are we like advertising this like constantly? This is what we're about. Or some people drinking, this is what I'm about. This is, you all things in moderation. I mean, you can get too weighted, I think, one side or another. Yeah, we definitely need to have balance in life. And really, what's important in life? I mean, the scope of life, if you're constantly putting things out there about, I went to this winery and I tried this beer and I've done this and that, then you're all about drinking. That's the most important thing. You know what I mean? Or people that it's constant selfie. You know what I mean? Then I don't know if it's about drinking as much sometimes as being cool. And if that's considered the cool thing, then that's what they're going to do. If the cool thing became climbing mountains, they might want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, hey, I got my special jacket on and my special thing, blah, blah, blah. I think that's considered, because Steve Arslick and I just did a show. I've also done a podcast, which will be coming out on the topic of drunkenness. And like he said, some of it's just that social thing. It's like, look at me, I've got the special kind of whiskey, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But anyway, overeating, I think, is certainly one of the things that we do in our society, judging by the fact that 2/3 of our country is considered to be overweight. Yeah, we probably eat too much. Yeah. Okay, because that didn't happen by accident. You don't get 2/3 of your country weighing too much by eating too little. That's not how that works. Yeah, and even discipline in eating. I mean, you wouldn't think because I'm thin, but I'm not disciplined when it comes to eating, and like I have high cholesterol. So the doctor wanted me to control it with my diet. Right. And then I went in and he's like, we're really going to have to put you on medication because controlling it with your diet isn't working. And I said, that's because I don't do it. Right. Because I just want to eat what I want to eat. Because you don't do it. Now I got the news in my physical that my bad cholesterol is high. Thank you very much. Not nearly as high as mine. It's not as high. Well, yeah, they're not going to medicate me. That's for sure. So now I take medication and I still just eat what I want, but I shouldn't. You know what I mean? I know it's not good for me. So yeah, I think there are times though people overeat and it can be a problem, and food can be an issue, and there can be an addiction to food. And because food is used to bring comfort, is this used to soothe depression because it makes you feel better. There are times it's just a plain old lack of self-control. And I've had to challenge myself at times where someone just gave me licorice, and we have now I got it 4 days ago. Somebody handed me this bag of licorice. We've eaten half of it between all of us, not just me. It's me and it's Mark, it's Eric. So we've already knocked out half that bag. And I'm like, am I about to knock out a bag of licorice in a week? Like, seriously? And I start thinking about, sometimes I want to eat it just because it's there and I see it. And I ask myself, do you need that piece of licorice right now? No. But are you going to eat it? I don't know. Sometimes I told myself, no, I did. I said, no, you're not going to eat it right now. And I didn't. There are other times where I go, well, I think I'll have one because it's there. And I don't need it, but it just brings me happiness because I like black licorice. So I'm going to eat it. And there are times I'm like, you just ate X number of calories you didn't even need. Like your body didn't even need that. And you just ate it just because. That to me is, it's more than I need it. Right. That's overindulging. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll buy a 1 pound box of turtles from Mary Ann's Chocolates, dark chocolate. Love them. I can't do it. I'll eat the entire box in like 2 days. Gummy Bears. I love them. Gummy Bears. Our friends bought it. You Gummy Bears and Zyrtec. I know. They bought me Zyrtec with my Gummy Bears because I'm allergic to corn syrup. I know. So,
but I ate them anyway.
I know.
Oh,
Well, the
my
Holy
goodness.
Spirit does produce self-control, Jerry. Okay. So the Holy Spirit can help you. There is help for you.
I need help.
Right. Yeah. I've never worried about you putting on weight because you obviously don't put on weight. I worry about your...
My heart, gonna have a stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Basically your arteries look like, a sink drain that's been full of bacon grease. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like... I'm like, yeah, sure. She's thin and all that, but it doesn't mean you're healthy, right? Because you're eating a bunch of stuff you shouldn't be eating.
That's true.
Don't do it. So I hope you're convicted. But anyway, don't overindulge. And again, a great question to ask is, do I really need this? Even money, financially, I think there are times where people overindulge. Do I really need these fluffy slippers? That look cute? And I'm being told, no, I don't need fluffy slippers. I wouldn't buy them. But, for you, it might be an issue. Do I really need this other pair of jeans? Do I really need another flannel shirt? Do I really need another sweater? Do I really need it? I want one. Do I need it? And it's actually stopped me. Like I've probably, since Christmas time, I don't think I've put in one order from Eddie Bauer, Banana Republic, except jeans I needed. But I haven't done anything because I've just kind of said, do you need it? No.
Right.
So I'm not going to get it. I don't really need any more T-shirts. I have way too many T-shirts. So do you need that? No. Unless I travel to another country, then I'm going to get one.
Feels like you don't need another coat.
You have so many coats.
One for every outfit.
I know. I feel like I have 3 coats and I can't even get one of my 3 coats in the closet because somebody else has way too many coats. That's kind of how that works. So there's got to be a line between enough and too much.
It's true.
And what is that line, I guess? What is that line?
I think it's need. I think sometimes people buy things that are trendy and they go out of style so fast, just trying to keep things that will last,
right.
Instead of just having to have the latest of everything, just, make sure that you have stuff that will last you a long time, that's good quality, and don't feel like just because somebody else has something new or the coolest car or whatever, that you have to have it. Yeah. Because in the scope of life, that car feels new initially, but then in a few months, it doesn't feel new again at all.
That's not true.
Yeah. My car still feels new. 2013. Exactly. I've had it since 2013,
you've had it 8
and I
years,
love it.
And I know because you still love your car, and you're still like, it feels new to me.
We need a new car. I'm like, I like my car.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't trust your car.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's got a lot of miles.
It's got a lot of miles. But I think too, what's the line? Like, just like you should watch your calories and say, well, how many calories do I really want to consume today? Or how much money do I really want to spend? There has to be, and you and I have discussed it, we haven't done it yet, but going back on a budget just to say, well, maybe I shouldn't just eat out whenever I feel like it. Maybe I shouldn't just get this because I felt like getting it. Maybe I need to really start thinking through how I'm spending my money and have more of a thing, because you can, again, overindulge. You can go too far.
Right. Or just feel like, oh, yeah, I could use that. And then you just get it. And one thing that is really, I think, detrimental, it's convenient ordering online, but it's detrimental because it's so easy.
Right.
As opposed to when you had to drive 35 minutes to get to a mall, you didn't get stuff as easily as you can with the click of a button.
Right.
So from that perspective too, I think it can have pros and cons.
Right.
It saves you time, and if you're looking for something that is hard to find, but it also makes it too easy sometimes, I think, for people to spend money.
Right. So. Yeah, again, I think you just need to ask yourself, do I really need it? And if you're buying something that you're not using, like, how I am, I'm hardcore into photography. I like it. It drives me, it gets me outdoors, drives me to seek sunsets, puts me on the water, puts me on hiking trails just because I like it, puts me in towns. I've seen a whole lot that I wouldn't have seen if it weren't for taking my camera for a walk.
Yep.
All right. But at the same vein, and I use it.
Yes, you do.
Like, I would not buy a fancier paddle for my kayak and not use said paddle.
Right.
If I'm going to buy, I don't want to buy something to have it if I'm not in fact going to use it. That camera gets used and used and used and used. I mean, I've had it well under a year. I think I got a couple months to go to get a year. I mean, I'm already close to 9,000 photos that I've taken in that time. You're talking taking almost, and this will probably be nothing for, a real photographer, but you're talking about firing that shutter almost 1,000 times a month.
It's a lot.
I would say that sounds like a lot of pictures. You know, you're 1,000 photos per month on average. So yeah, I'm I'm up there. I don't, well, not 1,000, a little bit under that, but yeah, I shoot. I take a lot of photos. But I use it. I wouldn't have it just because I would think it was cool to have a cool camera.
Right.
I'm going to have it if I'm going to use it. If I have a kayak, I want to use it. I don't want to have things I'm not going to use. If I'm not going to use it, I want to get rid of it.
I do think, though, that we are a society that buys a ton of stuff. That just, like, I mean, because we yard sale and we go out and, you know, because we have a business where we buy and sell stuff. So we'll be out yard sailing, and I can't tell you how many yard sales you go to where you just see table after table after table, a driveway full of a bunch of kids' toys, a bunch of knick-knacky stuff that, you know, they bought at some trendy little store and all out there. And you look at it and you're like, why did you even buy this stuff to begin with? I mean, it's overwhelming just to be at the yard sale. And then you wonder, how much more junk do you have in the house if you can have this much out on your lawn?
It's turned my stomach at times. Like
It's really
it makes
weird.
me question some of the thinking in America as a yard sailor for the very same reason. When you walk into that garage sale and you see the gluttony of buys, like how many outfits did that kid need? How
it's
many
unbelievable.
games did the kid need? How many toy trucks did the kid need? It's shocking. I mean, because I'm going to promise you, we could have never put on a yard sale like that when I was a kid.
No.
But America is just, I don't know if this is how we cope with things or somehow this makes us feel better or it's just a sign of our affluence. We're such consumers. I think we need to question it. You know, why are we buying all this stuff and every little latest gizmo that someone makes you feel like you need to have?
Right.
Right?
It's crazy.
It is. And so we've been consumers. Recently, I walked into an antique mall and I wondered why anybody ever bought any of the stuff in the first place. I walked through 3 floors of an antique mall, saw one thing that I thought was really cool. And the rest of it, I'm like, why was it ever bought?
Yeah.
Like, why do people ever get into this? It looks like such a pile of junk to me that it looked like the whole antique mall looked like a bad yard sale. And I'm looking at all this stuff. Like, it just turns my stomach to think of how much we have, how much we've overindulged, how much we've spent that we didn't need to spend. Now, I'm a collector. So I have collected antiques and stuff. And even for me, as I've gotten older, I look at it and like,
It's stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's specific stuff. I mean, it's cool stuff. I'm not saying it would. Most of it would have some type of appeal to somebody, but yeah, I don't know. I just question it.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I think it's definitely an issue with our society as a whole.
Right.
You know,
I think social media is one that we started talking about, and I have it in here in my notes to hit it again. Just as one of the things, like for myself, that it's about maybe a week ago, I didn't even put a post on my Bill C. McMinn Instagram page for 7 days because now for me that's unusual because when you're taking 1,000 photos in a month,
you share them.
You have plenty of photos to share. It's the point of having the 3 Instagram pages I have, not counting the church. So I can't just have one Instagram page. I have that 3 as we talk about gluttony, but I'm an Instagram page glutton, I guess. But you have plenty of photos to fuel all those. And so you're shooting for this, for this for that, this for the other. And I really want to show the beauty and the interest of the world and get it out there. So, I mean, there's a reason that I'm doing it, but I didn't do it because I just wanted to take a break from it and just like refresh my brain a little bit and just come away from it and repurpose myself. Like just, okay, what are you about? Like, what is it that you really want to accomplish? Because we're coming into warm weather. So we're going to be leaving my abandoned hunt old stuff down, old cars and fields, because you can't see them anymore. There's going to be grass and leaves everywhere. So you can't see them like you can in the winter. So I'm not leaving that phase, heading probably more into the summer phase of being on the lake and sunsets. What do I want to accomplish? Like, what am I hoping to accomplish here? What do I really want to do? And so I could rethink it rather than just, willy-nilly throwing stuff out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for social media, it's definitely one of those things to weigh out and maybe evaluate your own heart as people go, you know, because you do see a lot of stuff. And sometimes, for me, I'm much more, I don't know if I would say I'm like a private person, but I don't, I guess, care to put my stuff out there like all the time. But sometimes I feel like people can't do anything without putting it on Facebook.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, can't you just enjoy the company of the people that you're with without having to get photos of everything for the rest of the world to see it? You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy the moment that we're in with the people that you're with without feeling like you also have to share it with a bunch of other people that aren't there.
Yeah, well, a lot of times I'm taking cell phone shots. It's just for me.
Right.
So
I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying people as a whole.
I think you were.
You know, it's one of those things to think about.
I think you were.
Bill. No,
I think you were kicking me under the table. You can't see it on the camera. She's beating my shins with her foot. No, I'm just joking around. No, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it 100%. Somebody challenged me one time years ago. I was like, hey, can you run in the snow and not show it?
Right.
I didn't put pictures up all the time, but they challenged. No, you did not say it. But they were mocking me about it, which is fine. I don't mind it, to be honest. Like, I don't mind someone busting my chops about something. It made me think about it, and I don't think I've had another one out since. Right. I just don't really. But when I'm running, a lot of times I'll put the nature shots. Like, I don't put anything about me. I don't take many selfies at all. That'd be kind of more on the rare side for me to actually be taking pictures of myself, but because that really doesn't interest me. But if there's something beautiful and the sun is setting on the trail, or I see the sun just coming through the leaves in a certain way, that I do like to take. Flowers on the trail, I do like to take. And I will share that.
People enjoy seeing it.
I will share that.
They're not out there. So it's balance.
But I think the balance would be then, but if you're posting and then have to check it all day long, or it's putting you on your phone, I think you have to evaluate, how do I want to spend my time today? How do I want to use my time? How much time do I really want to spend looking at my phone? And somehow learn how to create those boundaries. Boundaries with food, boundaries with social media, boundaries even with binge watching Netflix. Because as you look at gluttony in America and overindulging, one of the things that they do bring out is our binge watching of Netflix, where people will sit around for inordinate hours and just watch hour after hour of television programming. It's not really, I guess it is still television because you see it on a TV screen, but it's different today, the way we consume. But you don't wait every week for the next show.
No.
Like hey man, I can't wait until next week, and you're sitting down that 1 hour. Now you can go through a whole season in a day or two and watch it. And we've done it. I mean, we've at nighttime. We'll watch
while we're doing other stuff usually.
We're getting to the season where I can't wait to just be outside, and I'm hardly around my living room or TV at all. Right. But again, it's what am I putting my time into? Am I eating too much food? Am I consuming too much alcohol? Am I consuming too much media? Am I consuming too much Netflix? Whatever it is, am I a glutton in any of these areas, and do I need to trim it back? Because sometimes, just like plants in my garden, there are certain plants that I have to come in and knock out. It's not that it's a bad plant. It's just it has too much hold. It's invasive. It has too much of the garden. It has too much of a share in the garden. I don't want it to have that much share, so I'll come in with my shovel and I'll knock it back so that it can only have so much of a share, so it's balanced, because I want my garden to look balanced. It can't just be one thing. In the garden of life, if I can use that analogy, it can't just be one thing. It has to be, I need my time for God and praying for people. I need my time to help people. I need my time for you, to talk to you and my family and get exercise and so on and so forth. It can't just be that one thing. So are we balancing out our time? Are we gluttons in any way? Great advice to think about as the 7 Deadly Sins series continues. And we hope that it's been helpful. I know it certainly has challenged me. You guys all have a great and a blessed week.